Warning: any techniques or actions seen in this video are purely for entertainment purposes. None of the speakers on camera are acting in an official instructional capacity. Do not try this at home. And all that other legal bullshit. Okay, I'm here with another video, and this is actually a very important lecture point, and this is dealing with professional attackers, versus amateur attackers. And this is probably going to be a multi-part video, just because there's a lot on the topic, but the most important thing you need to understand is that a professional attacker, right, not necessarily somebody who does it for money, but somebody who takes attacking you or trying to oppress you or whatever seriously, is that their very first order of business they're going to do, the very first thing they're going to do if they know what they're doing, is to try and convince you not to fight back. And again, there's another lecture where I talk about the combat spirit and things like that, but that's where I think anarchy arts and the efficient way really needs to be different. Is a lot of self-defense martial artists kind of teach you how to fight against amateurs, right? If they do this punch or they do that, or if they're bigger and stronger but they don't have any technique, you can do this. But a lot of them, again, for legal and liability reasons, don't want to risk their reputation talking about, well, let me train you how to fight a professional. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit, so, again, I'm going to get into that, but that's the first most important part, is a professional is going to try and convince you not to fight back in the first place. There's two really main ways they do that. The first one is intimidation, to just make you believe that you can't fight back or that you have no chance and they're just going to scare you. But another way people do this is, trying to reason with you. They pull a gun on you and say, hey, look, man, I just want your wallet. I don't want to hurt you. Just, hand it over. Everything will be good. And this is a very important point, because if they can effectively convince you not to fight back, no other fighting skill you learn is relevant. And again, a lot of martial artists don't talk about this because, they're more insurance salesmen, and they know that in most societies, the range of situations where you're going to actually fight versus, walk away, or versus them having a weapon and you can't fight back is so slim they don't really need to go over this. But again, it's very important to where, you need to understand that and get that mentality kind of going, is that if they're able to successfully intimidate you out of fighting back, no skills you have matter. Being world champion in X, Y, and Z, and, having medals in shooting and all that, if they're able to just convince you, either scare you or convince you out of fighting back, none of your fighting skills matter. All those hours in the gym are wasted. They're for nothing. Number of fights I've been in is really low because of this. I'm able to, carry a presence and just deal with people in a way to where I take their will to fight me or challenge me away from them. They don't even feel confident or comfortable trying to screw me over in the first place. So one, you can carry that, yourself. That's one thing you want to work on. But again, it's another thing you need to kind of sit with and think about is, it's really easy to run a drill over and over, and it's easy to fight people that are your partners, that are your friends, that are your buddies, that are not trying to break your spirit. But you need to, and again, in our kind of, my sparring system of competitive sparring, we really kind of get into that where, we go hard on each other mentally, not physically, but we go hard mentally, because again, I'm going to try and break your confidence, and I'm going to try and break your spirit in sparring, so you can get a taste of what that feels like. Because in the real deal, somebody who's trying to rob you or sexually assault you or kidnap you or even murder you, even if they intend on shooting you in the face, it's really easy to shoot someone in the face when they're on their knees versus they're, taking cover or running away or shooting back. It's much easier to just do it when they're not fighting back. So no matter if they're trying to take something from you, whatever it is, a professional is going to try and break your spirit and convince you not to fight back. So again, that's kind of the part one of that lecture, is just to be aware, of the mental aspect of fighting, that, you need to be able to either, not fall for the sweet talk or, stand up to the intimidation if you want any of the skills you have in combat to actually count.